I tell the rest in the book, but I also share that this is the beginning of the journey. This is the beginning of new work to ensure that mass incarceration doesn't happen to any race, whether black, Hispanic, Asian, white. We have to stand together, and we have to let people know right is right, wrong is wrong. Mass incarceration is killing our nation, and corporations are getting rich off of the backs of black men and women. And so I come here, message to each and every one of you. Yes, it is about living life, but it is about leaving legacy. And so if we're going to fight, we've got to fight together.
That's right.
We have to do it for the justice of the world. We have to do it for the elderly rights that are right about of the world. We have to do it for the Darren L. Harrises of the world, those who are leaders and don't know that they're leaders, those who are hurting and don't know that they're hurting, those that are suffering and don't know that they're suffering. So all I ask is that the Lord would use me. That the Lord would use you.
As I embark on another year of life by the grace of God, I wanted to end 45 with a time of intense and deep thought, and also reflection. The first thing that I recognized that I would have to do is to get focused, which meant removing any and all distractions. You know, those things that get you off course. Get rid of all of these distractions that would even threaten my goal. Sometimes I can be a little weird. I know that when I'm sitting in meetings or in places where people are having discussions, sometimes I'll hear someone make a statement or maybe even ask a question. Or maybe they're just talking. But it oftentimes prompts me to ask a question. And not of them, but of myself. And that question is, I wonder what story they tell themselves to believe that. Wow, what a powerful question. It's a question that's thought-provoking for all of us. Because I, like so many other people, have struggled with insecurities and self-limiting beliefs. And I have to ask myself that question. What story am I telling myself to believe that I'm not worthy or I'm not smart enough? What story? Better yet, whose story about me am I believing?
And I was like, what? Me? A lawyer? I don't think so. But the more I tried to get rid of that idea, the more I thought about it. And what I realized was that compassion and the law could be practiced together. So I took the exam, I went to law school, I passed the bar, and I started working in the district attorney's office, protecting victims of domestic violence. And then I went on the bench. I was so excited because this was an opportunity to combine my former profession with care and compassion with my knowledge of the law. My first day on the job was Monday. The possibilities were endless. But by Friday, 5 days on the job, I realized that my new job had nothing to do with compassion and everything to do with processing paperwork. Because you see, the criminal justice then and still today is very much like a factory. The cases go down the assembly line and everyone does their part. Peace officer arrests the individual, district attorney files the case, the lawyers get together with the judge, they craft a sentence, and probation then comes in and oversees it. And everybody does that with this idea that this human being is going to reoffend. And in fact, 75% of prisoners released from state prison reoffend within the first 18 months. And therein starts this revolving door of jails and prisons. There are so many people that pass through my court that suffer from mental illness, substance abuse, and homelessness, and often all three. Is prison really the place to help people get better? I knew that when I spoke to them, they wanted a better life. And I knew that when I treated them with dignity and respect, they responded well to that. What was my mistake? I was soon to find out. Former Attorney General Janet Reno started the first collaborative courts in the nation because she saw that criminal justice was failing. And what she did is she set up a court utilizing positive reinforcement, but also very strict accountability. And she brought everyone to the table. You see, the big problem with criminal justice is that mindset that people are going to fail. And in the collaborative courts, what we do is we gather everyone to the table. So it's the judge, the prosecutor, the defense lawyer, the probation officer, the treatment therapist, and everybody else. And the questions we ask are not when is this person going to fail, but we ask, is this person mentally ill? Is this person homeless? Does this person suffer from substance abuse? Is this person a combat veteran? And what can we, working together, craft individually for this human being to help them succeed? And succeed they have. 80% of our clients in collaborative justice graduate from our program in the last 18 years. And of that 80%, the majority of them have never picked up another criminal case. Not only that, for every dollar we spend in collaborative courts, we save $7 to $10 in incarceration costs alone. So these courts save lives, save money, and make our community safer. So why aren't the legislators all over this evidence-based practice? I think it's because we don't have the funds to pay for lobbyists or campaign contributions. We can't compete with the prison lobby that's so richly funded. In our state, the state of California, in the year 2010, we spent $7.9 billion incarcerating people. $7.9 billion. And what did we get for our money? There wasn't a reduction in crime. Our neighborhoods aren't safer. And those inmates are returned to their communities with little or no rehabilitation. There was a massive study in the year 2006 of all inmates housed in jails and prisons in the United States. That study found that more than half of them suffer from some form of mental illness. That's 1,250,000 human beings. To put that in perspective, the largest de facto mental institution in our nation is the Los Angeles County Jail. Who benefits from our approach to criminal justice other than the prison lobby? Isn't it time that we admitted that this approach of jails and prisons as some kind of retribution or half-hearted attempt to rehabilitate is a failed social experiment and certainly not an evidence-based response to crime? And furthermore, from a humanitarian perspective, what does this say about us as a country? Republican Governor Chris Christie recently signed a bill This was a law mandating drug court in his state. And when he signed that bill, he said, "No human life is dispensable." He said, "Drug courts are a common sense, fiscal, and moral response to assisting addicted individuals turn their lives around without warehousing them in prison." Chris Christie, I never thought I'd agree with him on anything, let alone see him as a beacon of hope for future change. I will know that we're really on track when the mentally ill receive these same opportunities. Because isn't it time that we began to look at mental illness as a disease instead of a crime and treat them with medications and lifestyle changes in the same way that we successfully treat diabetes and heart disease? In the 20 years that I've been on the bench, I have come to believe that if we gather together and collaborate, our success is always going to be greater. And the wonderful thing is, no matter what your occupation is, if you treat yourself and others with compassion, dignity, and respect, the outcome will always be better. I hope, it is my wish, that someday we will have less prisons, and someday the mentally ill will be treated with dignity and respect. And I believe that this will happen because we will gather together and harness the power of our beautiful minds to resolve these problems. Thank you.